Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Cooper Kupp is on the block, they say. What is your read on that situation? Like the LA Rams, since winning the Super Bowl, have become a garage sale, a flea market, a yard sale. That's what they are. What are your thoughts on Cooper Kupp being dealt?
Well, the yard sale began with Andrew Whitworth retiring after the Super Bowl. A few years later, Aaron Donald retires. They had to get a new receiver in Puka Nacua. He sets a record and now becomes wide receiver one. And who is left out of all this? It's Cooper Kupp, who was wide receiver one when they drafted him out of Eastern Washington. And he hasn't been the same since that Super Bowl year. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that he's on the block. In fact, this Rams team, after, in essence, buying a Super Bowl in 2021, are going to sell off every piece, including 36-year-old Matthew Stafford, and they're going to try to build they're going to try to build this thing, quote unquote, the right way. Problem is, you're already in history as a Super Bowl champion, so there's nowhere to go for the Rams, and we're seeing it, but down.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Oleg in Winnipeg writes in, says, Rod is fighting so hard. My awesome comments. One day I'll win him over for one. Well, at least you're now speaking in first person. The fact that you've been writing in third person for several years, I refuse to read your comments in third person. So that's why, Oleg, if you spoke like a normal person, I'd read your comment. How about that?
How about that? This is the Rod Pedersen Show. How about that?
My show, I make the rules. Don't get mad at me. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. Holy smokes. We got a lot going on today. Boom. Episode number 1386. This is the place to be. I'll tell you why in a moment. Let's bring in I'm in South Florida. Moose is in Toronto. We're ready to rock. Your team versus my team tonight. Here's a spoiler alert. That's our poll today for EMJ Marketing. What's the game of the night in the NHL? I'm salivating, Darren, at the game. There you go. For EMJ Marketing, they'll provide the perfect keynote speaker for your event. Look up Joe at emjmarketing.com. I don't even think we need to have the poll. It's the Leafs or the Panthers. We're going to spend some time on that. As a matter of fact, Moose, we could get through this whole show with just you and I. Just you and I. There's so much going on. My NHL top 5, bottom 5, your NFL power rankings has me wonder if you're into the left-hand lettuce a little early. College football rankings. And I'm going to tell you something. Everybody is going bonkers with the holidays. U.S. Thanksgiving, as we Canadians call it. U.S. Thanksgiving, or as they say in the U.S., Thanksgiving. Everybody's saying happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving. Everybody's in a good mood. Everybody's excited. A lot of people not working Friday down here. We will be working Thursday and Friday, but everybody's in a good mood. How about you, Moose? Are you in a good mood?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in a good mood. The sun is shining. And as we call it in Canada, Thursday. So it's good.
It's actually Wednesday, but...
Yeah, Wednesday.
Oh,
but
the
tomorrow.
Thanksgiving.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. The Thanksgiving. Yeah, I got you.
Right? Yeah. But you know what? I love that you're down there and we have other friends throughout the U.S. that we get to celebrate both. And I take the opportunity to celebrate American and Canadian Thanksgiving. Why not?
I'm going to tell you something. It's in my commentary today. If you're so inclined as a Canadian, which I'll always be, I have the passport and they haven't taken it away from me yet. We have the opportunity to celebrate 2 Thanksgivings, as Darren just said. It's fantastic. Or if you don't want to, don't. But I don't know why you wouldn't. Coming up on the program today, Dave Campbell, the color voice of the Edmonton Elks, and he can talk some Oilers as well. Dave Soupy Campbell coming up from 6:30 Chad, or whatever they're calling it now. I think they moved down the dial on the radio stations there. And then an hour or two, we were hoping to get Vernon Adams Jr. We may still, I don't know. If not, as I said, Moose and I got it covered. Can you hit the quick 6 show horn, please, Director? Who's directing, Clark, just so I know? Director Bryce, thank you. I just want to good morning and acknowledge some of the viewers here today. Cardinal Ryan checking in from upstate New York. John in Edmonton checking in about the National Lacrosse League season starting. Steve Smith in Steinbach, Manitoba, says, let's go. Colt, the Alouettes fan, checking in. Jenna from Southern California. And can I please ask if there's anybody in the dear old 306 that's tuned in here today? That would be fantastic. Okay, we gotta pull it back in already. Some are writing in with what they'd like to talk about. And no, in the warm-up, it's only been 1,386 shows. But I'll remind those that don't know, this is where me and Moose get through the topics here. Okay, and then later on, we'll get to you guys. But I want to point something out, too. It's point 5, Darren, is snatched from the Associated Press headlines. Here is your U.S. Thanksgiving television watching sports guide. And I'm sitting there going, if you're a complete moron and you don't know yet who's the 3 games in the NFL on Thursday, what are the huge games in college football on Saturday, not to mention all the National Hockey League games. If you don't know, and I was sitting there, can you fire the horn, Bryce? Did he fire the horn? He did fire the horn. Yeah.
Bingo.
If you don't know what you're going to watch on TV, what the hell are you doing here? But I forget, Darren, that sports isn't everybody's whole life, and we're very blessed that that's our career. You know what I mean? Was there ever a time in your life before you were in sports that you were actually of the 99.9% of the public that your life didn't revolve around sports? Do you remember a time in your life like that? And if so, what was it? What was going on?
I don't. I'm trying to think of when my life didn't revolve around sports, but it really has. Like the second my earliest memories are sports. And then it was, which sports season are you in? And you're getting ready for hockey and then in baseball and football and every sport. I have no recollection of that. I can't relate.
Okay. Well, the reason no, I can't really either, but I'm opening this up to say this because we have all these new viewers across Canada and obviously the USA that know very little of us other than we're the 2 guys that show up on their screen every day. Or they listen to us, via podcast every day or radio, whatever. I was not in the sports and media business for a period of 3 to 4 months when I was 19 and I worked for the Delta hotel chain. I think you know this. I worked in the marketing department and I hated every single freaking second. And it was so long ago. I lived 30 miles out of town. I would read the newspaper as I drove the highway into town. Had a coffee, read the newspaper, had it folded on. You could do that when you were driving that highway at that time. And I wanted to slit my wrists every day. So that's what I remember about not really following sports and not working in sports. I'm like, I'm not doing this. Not doing this. And got back into the media business shortly thereafter. Anyways, on point. Because Darren worked at a great Canadian brew house. He was a bartender, just so we all know. We haven't always worked in this. NHL leftovers from Tuesday night. The Vancouver Canucks remain the best road team in the NHL. Vancouver blanked the Bruins 2-0 in Boston and improved to 8-1 on the road this season. Meanwhile, just 15 shots for the Montreal Canadiens as Montreal dropped a 3-2 decision to the Utah Hockey Club in overtime Tuesday. It was the lowest shot total Montreal's recorded in a game since December of 2009. Darren was 2-0 last night in our sport betting segment. I was 0-2. So, Darren, take a bow. What led you to believe that Vancouver and Utah would both record road wins last night?
Well, Vancouver's one of the best road teams in the National Hockey League. They might even be number 1 when it comes to road wins. I think they're now 8-1-1 on the road. And so they're really good on the road. And I had just finished watching Utah play on Sunday in Toronto, and I liked the way they played. I thought they played a hungry game. I thought they pressed to try and tie that game late. I saw some things that I liked, and so I thought they were due for a bounce back against a Montreal team that's not the same. It's not the Leafs. Let's just face it. Montreal's not the same team. So that's what I was thinking.
Well, I want to say this before we move on to the next thing I'd like to talk about on the Quick Six Show topics here. It's amazing how popular sports betting is. Now, again, I don't do it for a variety of reasons at all, really, other than going in a playoff pool or whatever for the Stanley Cup playoffs. I have since I was 12, but I was walking around the concourse at the Panthers game the other night doing loser laps like we used to do in the Agrodome at Pat's games. And I heard two guys behind me, and the guy was like, yeah, I had Sam Reinhart to have 2 points tonight. He took it at plus 150. I'm like, English, please. You know what I'm like? I know you tried to get me into understanding this. I never really will. I'm bad at math, but it's such a part of the mainstream vernacular. And I was also raised that I work really hard for my money. I'm not going to throw it away by gambling, but it's just a really big deal. And Darren's very good at it. I just largely stay out of it, other than this sport betting thing. So let's quickly turn our attention to tonight. There are 15 games tonight. And our poll question, as I mentioned earlier, is for EMJ Marketing, and it is, what is the game of the night in the National Hockey League? There you go, EMJ Marketing. I'll say it again. Check out their complete speaking roster at emjmarketing.com. It includes Stu Grimson, Mike Vanderjack, myself, Jim Barker, Scott Schultz, Darren Dupont. So, yeah, all the best. Come to EMJ Marketing. The options are these. Leafs Panthers here tonight in Sunrise. Flames Wings in Detroit, as Bob Cole would say. And the Winnipeg Jets of the Los Angeles Kings, or other, because it's a 15-game slate. I'll prepare you that Sportsnet's going to be completely packed tonight with NHL highlights. For me, it's Panthers-Leafs. We're not yet getting to the picks for tonight's games, but I heard Elliot Friedman say this morning on NHL radio he'd be shocked if the Panthers didn't come with their best effort tonight. So I think Florida, it's going to be a hell of a game. That's my game of the night. I assume it's yours,
great.
too.
And that is the game of the night. I'm a sucker for the late games. I like to, lie in bed with the lights off and put the late game on. So I'm excited about Winnipeg, LA, too. Those will probably be my two games. I'll watch the Leafs and Panthers first, then I'll watch the Jets and Kings second, and that'll be my night, and I'll catch highlights of everything else or bounce around. But Leafs, Panthers, that's the game of the night.
Of course, and then the other thing here is, for those that are just getting acquainted with us, I write a column in the South Florida Tribune every Wednesday. If you pick up today's copy of the South Florida Tribune, you'll get my thoughts on the Panthers and the Lightning. I cover the NHL for the South Florida Tribune, and it's exhausting to try and keep an eye on all of the NHL. I'm like, I'll just focus on these two teams. It keeps me busy enough. You know what I mean? Because I got to watch Yellowstone, too, and I got to watch Gator Boys. Like, again, I got to have a life. I think it's the third edition of Yellowstone that's out now. Last night, I was like, it's been a while since a drama has
no spoilers
got my heart. Yeah. I was like, no. Oh, it's just a show, Rod. Yeah. Yes and no. I mean, it's kind of the way we were raised. Very similar. Serena's like, it's not really like that. Yeah, I don't know where you grew up. It is where I grew up, just like that. So that's our vote for game of the night. 902-518-3033 is the Alaterra Skincare text line, 902-518-3033. We'll tell you a little bit more about Alaterra later on. It's not your mom's skin cream, I'll tell you that. It's for guys, and what can I say? It'll make you beautiful again. Point three, for the CFL fans, Calgary Stampeders head coach and general manager Dave Dickenson says his team still has work to do after acquiring veteran quarterback Vernon Adams Jr. from the BC Lions. Dickenson says he likes the 31-year-old American and has wanted to work with him for a long time. But Adams is just one piece. Calgary's looking to rebound from a 5-12-1 season where the Stampeders missed the playoffs for the first time since 2004. This is really big news across all of Canada. The British Columbia Lions trading Vernon Adams to the Calgary Stampeders yesterday. It happened in the middle of this show, so we analyzed it a lot. But it's been fun to see the reaction since. I don't know if you saw, we got a message from Vernon Adams on our Instagram. He DM'd us and just said, thanks you guys for all the support. I go back to yesterday's topic where I said the players see what you say, whether you're a media person, a podcast person, which I guess is media, or fans, they see it. And VA knows that we've had his back from day one. And this became very clear to me at Grey Cup, Darren. I've known VA a long time. I think he's a great guy. I was around Nathan Rourke at the Christian Athletes in Action breakfast. He's a great guy. A lot of great guys here. Okay, but there's not room for a room full of them. Ask Cody Fajardo and what happened in Saskatchewan. So we hope for the best. Clark wanted to. He suggested doing a poll question of who are the top 3 or 4 contenders of the CFL West. I'm like, I like the way you think. It's way too early for the way too early CFL predictions for 2025, Darren. I mean, come on, everybody's contract's up. Largely, you can't predict what's going to happen next year already. People aren't even trying.
No, we have no idea. And those are all the dominoes. These teams got to decide. There's going to be these quarterbacks, Jake Mayers among them, Macbeth, et cetera, that are scheduled, if they don't get re-signed, to become free agents in February. There's a lot that has to be decided. And, if you like your guy, I will say this to teams now, if you like your guy, the grass isn't always greener, and lock up your guy. If you like your guy, lock him up. If Macbeth is going to be your guy in Edmonton, lock him up. If it's going to be Trey Ford, then make sure he's happy and he knows he's your guy. That's the biggest thing right now. But it will be a very interesting free agency.
Yep, and I'd like to see them do that in Saskatchewan, and I think that they will. The reports are that they're trying to get Trevor Harris signed. BW in Edmonton writes in, and he says, Yellowstone is this generation's Dallas. Yep, I would go along with that. Bomber Boy in Calgary says, take him to the train station. Such a great line from such a great show. Spoiler alert, Kevin Costner is not part of this season and never will be again. Bill in Regina writes that he says, good morning all. It's snowing here in Regina. Thank you for the weather, Bill. The weather update, it is not snowing here in Boca Raton, Florida.
Hot damn!
Bill goes on to say Argos and Riders in the 2025 Grey Cup. You heard it here first. Zip it. Hour 1 of the RP Show brought to you by Culligan Water, clear choice. Filter out the bad and taste the good. Culligan Water of Regina. Visit their website at culliganregina.com. I'm going to sneak this in before we break. The Southeastern Conference's losses were almost everyone else's gain in the college football playoff rankings, with SMU nudging its way into the top 12 and Indiana staying in the mix at number 10, despite a lopsided loss of its own on Saturday. The latest 12-team bracket announced last night, undefeated Oregon is on top for the 4th straight week. It did not include Alabama or Mississippi of the SEC, both of which suffered their 3rd losses of the season last week. That helped SMU into the 9th spot, joining number 6 Miami to give the Atlantic Coast Conference 2 teams in the 12-team bracket. To some people, that's gibberish, and to others, they're really into it. And I think, I'll say this before we break. Do you feel like Canada will, in fact, get behind Indiana? Because Curtis Rourke quarterbacks the Hoosiers, and he's from Oakville or Victoria or wherever the Rourkes are from. They're Canadian. I know I will be. I feel like you will be. But will Canada perk up and pay attention, or are they just too into the NFL? What do you think? You're sitting there in Toronto.
I think they'll pick up. I think they'll be on the bandwagon. As much about supporting the Canadian kid, as much as we all like to get behind an underdog, and we love this story of Indiana. And they've had one big test in the horseshoe at Ohio State in that environment. Now they've dealt with that. They know what to expect. I'm curious the second time they play in a hostile environment like that. It should be fun.
We're going to take a brief pause. We are 4 points through the quick 6. We got some really good ones coming up, so stick around, everybody. Dave Campbell of the Edmonton Elks coming up later on this hour. We're live on the Game Plus television network, streaming live on YouTube as always, and, of course, podcasting wherever you enjoy your podcast.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit. As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Back at it. As sports fans, there's nothing we love more than a comeback. In the game against wrinkles, scars, and acne, it's never too late to revitalize your skin with Alitura Naturals. Check out their website at alitura.com and use promo code RP20 for 20% off your first order. And by the way, we can bring the moose in. Folks, join the Rod Squad newsletter today for free. Stay ahead of the game with exclusive insights, updates, contests, and exclusive content delivered straight to your inbox. Sign up for free today at rodpeterson.com. And I want to point out something that my 10 Things column, I've moved it from the website, from Facebook to that newsletter. If you want to read my 10 Things column every weekend, you got to sign up for the newsletter. It's a lot of Saskatchewan and Regina-focused events for those, and CFL as well, the ones that we don't talk as much here about every day because we're on national television here. Just sign up for free today. And here's a sneak peek for tomorrow before we move on. Let me read you this, Darren. Snatched from the Associated Press headlines, as I read earlier, the long, sports-filled Thanksgiving weekend is a time when many Americans enjoy gathering with friends and family for good food, good company, and hopefully not too much political conversation. Also on the menu, all the NFL and college sports you can handle. Here is a roadmap to one of the biggest sports weekends of the year with a look at marquee games over the holidays and how to watch. And then, in case you're a complete idiot and you don't have a TV guide in front of you, and I don't mean the magazine TV guide, a grid. I think people can figure it out for themselves, but in 2024, you realize, Darren, people don't want to think for themselves. Tell me what to think. Tell me what to watch. Tell me where to go. So tomorrow's show, while all of America is getting stuffed on turkey, and God knows what LL, Bud Light, we will be on this show, toughing it out, talking about that U.S. Thanksgiving stat. You know the one in the NHL that if you're in a playoff spot at U.S. Thanksgiving in the NHL, 80% of the teams in playoff spots will make the playoff. So just this little sneak, little appetizer here. Not even that. An hors d'oeuvre. Who of the teams that are in, and then we're going to be talking about this on the Cats and Bolts podcast later on today too, currently in today, you know who they are. Buffalo, New Jersey, Minnesota, and Calgary are all teams in a playoff spot. Well, I'm assuming they will be by tomorrow. They are today. And here's who's out, by the way, that were in last year. Islanders, Bruins, Predators, Oilers. You know it's not going to stay like this, but how much do you think it's going to shift over the next several months?
You're very curious. I think it's going to shift a bit. I do. I don't see Edmonton missing the playoffs at all. The Islanders, okay, maybe. I don't know. I just don't know. Like, and the teams that are in, like, Buffalo's a team that I've just kind of, I hate to say I've given up on the Sabres. And we have Sabres fans that watch this show. But every year I go to Buffalo's website. I check out their roster. I see what they're doing at camp. I watch a game. I'm like, this team is a playoff team. This team is going to take a step forward because they have a lot of great players. They've got some pieces. They, should be able to take the next step. And year after year, they disappoint me. And so I've stopped getting excited about Buffalo. I hope they can maintain and get into the playoff.
I want it for their sake, too. By the way, stop the presses. Checking the text line here for Eloterra Skincare, 902-518-3033. Donnie Regal writing in. He says, D. Regal from Francis, Saskatchewan, checking in from area code 306 for you. The Don Regal? Darren, I played senior hockey with him. I very poorly played senior hockey. This guy was an animal, okay? His brother, who I believe his name was Rick Regal, his nickname was Fetus.
Why?
Yeah. I don't know. But the thing is, once the Regal boys left and were done playing for the Flyers with us, we hung that nickname on my cousin Greg. So now his nickname became Fetus. And the whole thing was, it's such a fantastic nickname. And the original, the Regals are gone. We got to give it to somebody. So we gave it to my cousin Greg. Fetus.
Forget about Sterling Pedersen. That might be the best news name of all. I'm Rick Regal, and that's the news.
Donnie Regal checking in from Francis Sask. Yeah, it's got to be him. Oh, my God. He had a motor that just did not quit, man. This is where I realized pretty early on I shouldn't be in the crease playing. I just sit and like to watch the guy. Man, he can really dangle. Wow, that was a dirty hit. Wow, oh, hey, Rod, there's a shot coming. Oh. You know what I mean? Just not, my mind wasn't in it. Don, thanks for watching in Francis Sask. Kirk writes in from Toronto, from Francis Sask to Toronto, Ontario. We're bringing the world together. Kirk says, hi, Rod. I guess you heard by now that the Utah Hockey Club had to leave the team bus and walk to the Scotiabank Arena because of brutal Toronto traffic on Sunday. The mayor blamed the 120th Santa Claus Parade. What a time to be alive. Oh, my God. The players had to get off the bus and walk. Fault. Oh, my God. Are they okay? Say what? Go ahead.
Let's blame Santa. It was Santa's fault.
Spicy.
There's like legendary stories from the junior days. And for those that are watching in northern Saskatchewan, help me out. This is probably a little harsh, but like Terry Simpson had the Raiders walk from Saskatoon to PA after they lost the game. And it's national news that Utah had to get off the bus and walk to the rink. Stop the world, I want to get off. And by the way, Santa Claus parades are, I don't want to see them become a thing of the past. In a lot of ways, I don't think they will be, but I was saddened that there was no Grey Cup parade at the Grey Cup this year because you participated or at least witnessed the Grey Cup parade, which was combined with a Santa Claus parade in Hamilton last year. What a wonderful, ingenious way to do it. I'm all for the Santa Claus parade. I don't believe there was. What the hell was I doing on the Saturday? What I know was I wasn't at a Santa Claus parade or a Grey Cup parade. And the reason I'm pretty confident saying there was no Grey Cup parade was I saw on social media people upset that there wasn't. And I'm sure Dwayne Vinneau, the president of the BC Lions, and Riley Wuchar, the chairman of the Grey Cup's like, I guess the zip line wasn't enough for you. The one that was going from 6 a.m. to midnight every day, zipping people across Cole Harbor. That's not enough? No, we want a parade, damn it. And speaking of all of that, you have not commented on my new golf shirt. I know you were thinking it. I could see it in your eyes.
Are you reading my mind? I was actually thinking, first of all, you're typically an Under Armour guy, not usually a Nike guy. I'm more of a Nike guy. So I was sitting there being like, Rod, that's a nice shirt. It looks really good on you. And I thought that a couple of times in the opening segment.
Thanks. Macy's had a sale. Macy's had a sale. Just thinking of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade or the Macy's Santa Claus Parade. Advertising works, sticks in your brain. Chad in Lethbridge writes in, and he says, for one, he says, here's to another great show, RP, signed Chad from the 403. And he says, new show with Billy Bob Thornton called Landman, about life in the oil field in Texas. Yellowstone can't be beat, though. He goes on to say, thoughts on Canada's starting goalie for the Four Nations Cup? I would go with Binnington, Skinner, Kemper. Sure missed the days of Luongo and Price. Oh, you know that Canada, if it isn't already, is going to be up in arms. Not only who the goalie is going to be, but the fact that we don't really have one. And it's different for this Four Nations face-off because it's not like it's not like football where you bring in your vets and go, whoever performs the best in camp sessions and the preseason will win the starter's job. No, they got to pick one. And John Cooper, by the way, is coaching Canada, Tampa's coach. Binnington, Skinner, Kemper. It's interesting you say that because I kind of thought, what about Aiden Hill? I've seen him play fantastically for Vegas this year, and he won a Stanley Cup. I would vote for Aiden Hill of the Vegas Golden Knights. But how about you?
Logan Thompson's getting some conversation, too. What about Logan Thompson? Is he in Washington now? Here's the difference. Like you mentioned, Carey Price and Roberto Luongo, Marc-Andre Fleury. What about, going back further to Brodeur and Patrick Waugh and Curtis Joseph and Ed Balfour and all these guys? I mean, you look at those guys, it was a situation of we want this guy. No, we want this guy. No, we want this guy. No, we want this guy. And now it's, we don't want that guy. How about this? No, we don't want that guy. Well, we don't want this guy. So it's almost like who's going to get the position by default. In the past, we had too many guys that we all wanted, and we couldn't put them all in the crease. Times have changed.
Here's what they need to do. And one day they'll listen to me. I'll be long gone and dead by then. God knows where I'm going to be buried. But it's up to you to decide, Darren. But this is what I would say. Call Kelly McCrimmon. I got his number. Crim, who should we start in goal? He's probably going to say his guy, Aiden Hill, but who knows? Go with what Crim says. I think Doug Armstrong, the Blues GM, is the GM, correct? And John Cooper is the coach. So. Both of whom have Stanley Cup credentials. Sure. Let's just ask Crim. And I don't think anybody can argue with that. On the way, Dave Campbell, the color voice of the Edmonton Elks. Just checking in from the audience. Colt writes in, he says, how about my Minnesota Vikings signing quarterback Daniel Jones to our roster? I guess he'll be a good backup. He goes on to say, oh, no, it's Colin in Ottawa writes in, and he says, looks like the Alouettes took your buddy Cody Fajardo to the train station, Rod. I'm not going to get upset about that. for a couple of reasons. Number one, we're realizing this ain't new. It's just, it seems new. The whole "what have you done for me lately" thing, right? Cody was the Grey Cup MVP, led Montreal to the Grey Cup 2 years ago now. Got hurt this year, lost his starter's job, and he's not getting it back. What are you going to do? What have you done for me lately? It was like when Vernon Adams was acquired by the Calgary Stampeders yesterday. Jeremy wrote in from Regina, and he goes, "What does this mean for Jake Mayer?" What it means is, sucks to be you, Jake. That's what it means. Don't get hurt. What have you done for me lately? It's a cruel business. So I feel bad for Cody, but what are we going to sit here and argue with Danny Machocha that whether he knows what he's doing or not? That train has left the station. Does Jason Maas know? This can't be easy for Jason Maas. My God, they won a Grey Cup together. But better is better, Moose, as you say, and I guess they feel that he's better. And maybe he's done with this whole, maybe it's like me. And he's just like, made my money, I'm out. I don't know, maybe. We got to get Cody on the air now that I think about it. Moose, smoke him if you got him. We'll see you in hour 2.
You bet. See you then.
We're going to Edmonton next, and I can't wait. Soupy Campbell will be with us from Chad. We'll be right back on the Game Plus television network, streaming live on YouTube, and, of course, podcasting wherever you enjoy your podcast.
Into the holiday season with the Stars. Stars on Ice 2024 Holiday Tour with figure skating icon Elvis Stoico, Olympic medalist Caitlin Osmond, Caitlin Weaver and Andrew Poget, Keegan Messing, Satoko Miyahara, and more. Stars on Ice, coming to Moose Jaw Event Center December 20th. Unwrap your tickets at starsonice.ca.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Sports fans, we're brought to you in part by Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. They've been with us for a long time. And this Friday is their PD, Player Development Day. Give them a call or DM them, Overtime HL, on Twitter and Instagram for information on how you can get your kid down there. Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, where skill and fun collide. And breaking news in the NFL, Drew Lock will start at quarterback for the Giants at Dallas on Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, in what we're calling the Tryptophan Bowl. Let's bring in Dave Campbell, the longtime color voice of the Elks on Ched Radio. Soupy, how are you, my friend? Happy holiday.
Happy holidays to you. I noticed in your locale, it looks like there's no ssnow. What's with that?
How about that?
You're just figuring that out. You're just figuring that out, Dave. Hey, before we get to the CFL discussion, if the playoffs started today in the NHL, realizing, of course, that they don't, but if they did, the Oilers would not be in them. Why is that?
Well, I think if you look at the metrics, the analytics, they are very good at generating chances and not finishing them. They've shown a proficiency of or an ability to limit them, and they haven't got the stops they needed from their goaltender. The power play hasn't been good. The penalty kill hasn't been good, even though now it's on a bit of a heater, having not allowed a power play goal in 7 games. I think a lot of it has to do with personnel changes, and I think I probably underestimated the number of changes that they made, and I thought they made sense. I mean, yes, they got rid of Warren Fogle and traded away Ryan McLeod and, let Cody Ceci go and so on and so forth, but we forget how many of those players were on the power play, right? On the penalty kill. So, they're 11-9-2, which is better than last year. I mean, going into American Thanksgiving last year, they were 5-12-1, right? So they're trending better, but still not finding, their groove as of yet. And I think another factor, Rod, is for the first time, they're running into injuries, right? Arvidsson's hurt again. Hyman's hurt. McDavid got hurt early, even though he missed only 9 days. Darnell Nurse. So there's a number of factors, I think, but it basically comes down to me. They got to find a way to score more goals, and they got to find a way to get a save or two, a game that they're not getting. And, their decor is still a work in progress, too. So, and the special teams have to start picking it up.
Very well said, sir. But
Thank you.
That I know you do a great job. Well, that's what my wife says. Too many changes. Oh. She is the biggest Oilers fan that I know, and she loves them an unreasonable amount. But she's not changing now. Clark has some breaking news here. Austin Matthews will not play for the Leafs tonight here in Florida in what we're calling the game of the night. That should help the Panthers as they look to snap a 4-game slide. Now, to, if I may, the bomb that went off figuratively in the CFL yesterday, Vernon Adams being dealt to the Calgary Stampeders. I would think that, that trickles, that everybody felt the murmurs of that one. How was it felt in Edmonton?
I don't think from my perspective, it was a surprise that he went to Calgary. There's a connection there with Bo Baldwin, who's their quarterback's coach, who, coached Vernon at Eastern Washington. Already VA had a good relationship prior with Dave Dickinson. And you look at, Edmonton's situation. I mean, they just hired their general manager in Ed Hervey. They don't have a coaching staff, and it's rumored to be, the head coach is rumored to be Rick Campbell, and maybe Jordan Maksimic is the OC. Even though Vernon Adams was a very good teammate when, the Nathan Rourke stuff was happening and he lost his job, VA, we all remember the clip. He says, it hurt me great. He hurt me deeply. So
crushed him.
I just thought the Stampeders had the better assets, draft wise, even though, what does a draft pick mean in the CFL draft? I understand that. But I just thought it was a better fit for VA. And the first domino falls, and I guess the second one now is Davis Alexander signing that 3-year extension with the Alouettes. So we'll have to see what Danny Machocha says later today when he meets with the media. And, what does this mean for Cody Fajardo, who's owed I think $215,000 bonus in early January. I think we all know where that's leading. So, VA definitely has shaken things up, especially not just in the West Division, but the Battle of Alberta got interesting.
I still don't understand why agents put those bonuses. I don't get it. I know there's a reason, but I don't really understand it. And I'll tell you this, if you got a bonus in your contract and you're a CFL player, don't spend the money before you get it.
The only guaranteed money is your signing bonus.
Exactly. And even then, get to the bank quick. Okay, listen, I got a call the other day from a former Elk coach. He'd been let go. Hasn't been announced yet. Welcome to my life. Can't say what you know. You're the same. You know what it's like. But the stuff that I heard about Trey Ford, can you tell me, is this guy a guy you'd want on your team or not? You saw the stuff that came out, then was rescinded, blah, 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 right? It's just so volatile a couple of seasons there on Edmonton. Where do you see this moving forward?
Well, I think Ed Hervey, one of the reasons he wanted to come to Edmonton was Trey Ford. Now, I'm not saying it was his number one reason, number two reason, number three reason, but I don't know where it was in the scope of things for Ed, but he wanted to work with Trey Ford. Now, there has to be an understanding from Trey's perspective that, if he's going to come back, it's going to be in the right circumstances for the team and, for whatever Ed Hervey sees, which is, you need to come in and compete. So, Trey Ford is loved in Edmonton, and there's a lot of sentiment, of course, from fans that say, give him the keys now and just let him run with it. In football circles, the commentary is a lot different. It's he's a good athlete. He's progressed this year, but there's still some concerns about his mechanics and how maybe he works behind the scenes and things of that nature. And look, I think Trey means well. I really do. And I think he has brought some intangibles to the table with his skill and his excitement that gets you going, right? It's really exciting. I think he's 9-9 as a starter now. There is a sentiment, though, that says look at the teams he wins against and look at the teams he loses against, right? And the latter is he's losing to teams that are the upper echelon of the league that have the best defenses, and he's not able to, find a way through that, and he's got to. And when Ed Hervey says, I would like Trey Ford to call Bo Levi Mitchell and call Michael Riley, what does that tell you? Read between the lines here. It's you need to learn how to prepare and how to conduct yourself as a starting quarterback in this league, which I think McLeod Bethel Thompson did a good job of. And I do think Trey Ford took some steps. But this carousel and this, honestly, the controversy has to go away. Chris Jones didn't manage it well at all, in my opinion. I'm not saying Trey Ford is absolved of any responsibility. I'm sure he does have some as well. And I think Jarius Jackson and Geroy Simon did the best they could. But now it's a fresh start really for the organization and for Trey Ford. His best landing spot is Edmonton, because the sentiment is too, there is no market for Trey Ford outside of Edmonton. So this is his best spot. And for Trey, I see progress. It has to start getting to the level of consistency as a starter now. And what does that look like? He's just got to be willing to work with Ed Hervey here.
I love it. Well, you say he's loved in Edmonton, David. So was Wayne Gretzky. We saw how that turned out.
Yes.
And I'm not comparing Trey Ford to Wayne Gretzky, but I guess I am. And the other thing is,
you want to wave?
Yeah.
You want to wave?
Hi.
Say hi.
Oh my God! I remember when that kid was born. Wow, time flies.
Yeah, me too.
and the other thing, as you know, there's a special place in heaven waiting for you, David, when you get there. But I was through some, and it's not for a long time, but we had some dark days in Sask on the radio. But me listening to the last few years, that post game of you and Morley, it's like
stuff.
Oh man, God bless you for getting through it, man. But I feel like the worst is behind you, and I think you do too. We got to run, but happy holidays, my friend.
Thank you. You as well. Appreciate it.
Dave Soupy Campbell, the El Camos color commentator from Chad Radio in Edmonton. We'll be right back with a sports update and viewer takeover right after this. We're live on the Game Plus Television Network, live streaming on YouTube, of course, and podcasting wherever you enjoy your pod.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Mo.
The moustache is calling. Raise funds, save lives. Donate at Movember.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Fun segment with Davey Campbell there. And what a day for news. I really love when where I live, what you see on the screen, combines with where our viewers are, which is north of the 49th parallel. And tonight it's the Leafs at the Panthers. And we've learned, thank you, Clark, for notifying us that Austin Matthews will not play for the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. And that'll help the Panthers as they look to snap a 4-game slide, 7:30 Eastern to start at American Bank Arena. That's our poll question today for EMJ Marketing. What's the game of the night in the NHL? And I'll just tell you, leading the way, running away with it, is Leafs and Panthers. Here before I get into the other items in the sports. Glenn writes in from Medicine Hat. He says, I'm late to the dance today, but the 2026 Memorial Cup host city will be announced later this afternoon. Big day for the Western Hockey League. We kind of got an idea where it'll be, right, Glenn? More things that we're not allowed to say, but that we already know. He writes for the rodpeterson.com, 10 WHL things. He's a great guy. The Toronto Raptors take another shot at winning their first road game of the season tonight when they visit the New Orleans Pelicans. Raps fell 102-100 to Detroit on Monday, dropping their road record to 0-10. Yeah, not an NBA show, but I'm an NBA fan. Reading my Yahoo.com newsletter that I get every morning today, the Raptors are the second worst team in the NBA power ranking. Who's worse? Anybody know? The Wizard. Team CHL took Game 1 of the inaugural CHL USA Prospects Challenge presented by Kubota last night after a 6-1 win over the U.S. National Team Development Program in London, Ontario. Scoring for the CHL Canadian Hockey League All-Stars were Lyndon Lakovic, Cameron Schmidt, Brady Martin, Matthew Schaefer, Malcolm Spence, and Kashan Atchison. While in goal, Joshua Ravensbergen made 15 saves. For the United States, Jack Murtaugh had the lone goal. Is he related to Officer Murtaugh from Lethal Weapon? In any way? Murtaugh! Sports Update brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. In Landmark Cinemas now, the movie Heretic. Here's the story. Two young missionaries, Roger Murtaugh, Officer Roger Murtaugh, and Mel Gibson. Two young missionaries are forced to prove their faith when they knock on the wrong door and are greeted by a diabolical Mr. Reed, played by Hugh Grant, becoming ensnared in his deadly game of cat and mouse. Heretic in Landmark Cinemas now. It's very spooky, very scary. There's the disclaimer for you. 902-518-3033. Ron in Calgary writes in. He says, I'm sorry, Rod, but Edmonton is so overrated. Not winning any cups with Skinner. I may be a Flames fan, but I'm logical enough to see bad teams' decisions. Well, you would know because you're a Flames fan. And come on, guy, come on. Take the red goggles off and see that Skinner took them to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup. And again, they lost 2-1. They'd have had any offense that night, they win a Stanley Cup with Stuart Skinner. Come on, Ron. Like, I'm not an Oilers apologist at all, but come on. Get with it. Yeah, looks like Cody Fajardo is out in Montreal. We can talk about that next hour. We've got a lot of things to get to. NHL Top 5, Bottom 5, Moose's NFL Power 5, you name it. All coming up after this.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Esteban and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Oleg in Winnipeg writes in, says, Rod is fighting so hard. My awesome comments. One day I'll win him over for one. Well, at least you're now speaking in first person. The fact that you've been writing in third person for several years, I refuse to read your comments in third person. So that's why, Oleg, if you spoke like a normal person, I'd read your comment. How about that?
How about that? This is the Rod Pedersen Show. How about that?
Yes, it is. Hi, everybody. Welcome inside. Happy holidays, if that's your thing, if you celebrate. Episode number 1386 of the RP Show coming at you live. It's going to be spicy this hour, I can guarantee you, here on Game Plus Television and streaming live on YouTube. I'm in the South Florida studio. Moose is in Toronto. We've got word, and thank you, Clark, for this. Auston Matthews will not make his return to the Leafs lineup tonight as they visit the Panthers here tonight in Sunrise, and I'll be at the game. Clark, who reported it first, if you don't mind me asking? Do you even remember? David Alter, our friend David Alter. He's with the Hockey News, right? There's a million Leaf reporters. So Auston Matthews won't play tonight. How does that affect things, Moose, in your mind?
It doesn't. They're, 7-1 without Auston Matthews in the lineup? I mean, it does affect things. You need your good players in. And they want Auston Matthews back. But I've seen the numbers. Somebody posted it when McDavid was out earlier this year. The Oilers have a higher winning percentage when he's not in the lineup. The Pittsburgh Penguins had a higher winning percentage when Sidney Crosby wasn't in the lineup. The LA Kings had a higher percentage with Wayne Gretzky not in the lineup. Other guys have to step up and play better. But at the end of the day, you want your guys playing, and the fans want to see Auston playing.
Boom. I said we're going to have a lot of fun here. I appreciate those. My old friend, Donnie Regal, my former senior hockey mate, we've been going back and forth on text, Darren. Played senior hockey together. Him very well. Me just getting in the way. But I'm just glad to know that he's watching in Francis, Saskatchewan today on Game Plus Television. We are national across Canada and 32 U.S. states. But if you're watching in my home province and Darren's as well, would you just do me a favor? We don't ask for much. Send us a message on the Alaterra Skincare text line, just selfishly, 902-518-3033. I told Darren I wanted to get into a deep hockey chat today. We got a lot of football things to get to. Hour one goes so fast, but let me ask you this. I hope, if I may humbly say, I'd like to think I would like to be Canada's pardon the interruption, because there aren't any daytime television shows that I've seen in Canada talking about what we talk about daily, the NHL, the CFL. There isn't. Quite a few of them talking NFL. But is that pardon the interruption only 30 minutes long? Like, am I missing a broader 2-hour extravaganza on one of the other 8 ESPN channels? Or is it only 30 minutes? Because they cover a hell of a lot of stuff in 30 minutes, those two.
I've always wondered, because as a Canadian growing up, we watched that in the afternoon. It was always on after Off the Record. And they waved Tony Kornheiser would wave the little Canadian flag, and he'd say, "See ya, Canada." And then he would, he would allude to that he was coming back after the break for the rest of the USA. He was only saying goodbye to Canada because we're only syndicated in Canada for 30 minutes. And now that I've had the privilege of being in the States, I have access to ESPN, I see it, and I'm like, where's the rest of the PTI that we've been missing all these years? It's not there. It's not there.
Okay, well, those tricksters, those goofy bastards. We thought it was at least an hour. No, it's 30 minutes.
You know what? You have your tricks too. I won't out them, but you have your tricks too. We all do. Just
like my social media photos and stuff.
How about that?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
We all have our little trick.
Well, let me tell you something, by the way. I feel like we're in the holiday spirit. So we're going to have fun. That's one thing we do more than any other show anywhere, I swear to God, is have fun. Other than maybe Mike Florio's Pro Football Talk. I really enjoy that. But I just want to tell everybody, Darren knows a little bit about, actually, you know it all, because I told you it all. No secrets here. I switched gyms. I don't go to Johnny O's anymore, but it was not a bad parting. Johnny and O and us are great. I don't need to go to an NFL or Olympian performance gym. I don't need to go there. Okay. I was going there because Serena went there and she worked there. She didn't work there anymore. And so I joined up to LA Fitness. So we're good with Johnny. We're going to be hanging out with Johnny. We might even do the odd special occasion show there. It's pretty cool. Nick Bosa goes there. Joey Bosa goes there. Chris Carter goes there. Zach Thomas. You get it. Travis Kelce when he's in town. Go to LA Fitness. Because you know why? I like to have my little run on the treadie. Maybe 10 minutes on the elliptical. Pump a few dumbbells. And jump in the hot tub or the sauna. Bob's your uncle. And get on with my day.
Bob's your uncle.
I'm not a performance athlete, which I've had to tell Serena multiple times. You are a fitness professional. That's what you do. It's your job. I'm a media person. Have a look around the press box and just see the various fitness level of the people in the press box. I'm very high compared to them. But with your friends, I'm very low. Okay? I'm me. So anyways, I'm at LA Fitness for the first day the other day. And I wander down. I got my headphones on. I'm listening to NHL radio. Having a great morning. And I wander into the free weight section. Thinking, Jilly from Philly's going to be there. Getting ready to go for a massage after or whatever. No. What I could only compare to Macho Man Randy Savage and the Ultimate Warrior are standing there, and they literally looked at me like, are you lost? They didn't say that, but I felt it. And I'm like, I'm good. Just wheeled around. And it's Florida, man. It's the fitness capital of the world. They don't just do it at Johnny O's. They do it at LA Fitness, and there's a gym on every friggin' block. And you have a gym in your abode, though, do you not? That you hit from time to time?
That's the best. It's not big, but it's got everything I need in it, and nobody else is in there. I love that. I joked yesterday to you that I'm like, you got to find the why. That's where they go. And in Saskatoon, it was the Field House in Saskatoon. That was the gym I went to because nobody else was there. And if it was largely the old timers who just wanted to go to the steam room, lift a couple weights, but then just walk laps of the track. So largely the weights and the treadmills were free for me. There was no big bodybuilders and that in there. I loved it.
We're really okay. I was mad this morning because they were spending way more time on Pro Football Talk about Thanksgiving dinners and dishes, and I want to talk sports. And in a way, we're talking sports, but we're kind of not talking sports. here, but I just want to say, Bomber Boy writes in and he says, the elliptical sounds pretty good for your foot, Rod. Yeah, with my painful bursitis, but it's largely pretty much gone. I found out how to treat it, and we're good. But there's a lot of old guys and gals around LA Fitness, but I'm becoming one, and I'm okay with that. You know what? I walked into a store the other day, Darren, and I've become that old person that has that look on they're looking around. You know that look? I discovered I had that on my face the other day. You see the old people, right, walk in, like their face is frozen? That was
me. Your
me.
whole body tells the world that you're thinking. We used to be able to hide it when we're younger.
You know that look. I had it. I had to stop and say, Rod, you're not a young man anymore. You want to ask them if there's something wrong. Nothing wrong. We're just thinking.
Can I help you, sir?
Like you said. Yeah, exactly. That's me. Jay in Winnipeg writes in and says, Rod rocks out to the NHL network. LOL. Yeah, I'm different. Okay. While we're here, Colt writes in, the Alouettes fan, and says, how do you gentlemen like your coffee? Do you like a double-double? Well, I got a new place here, the Boca Bagel Bar. Just discovered it the other day. It's actually across the street from the studio here, and I take a double coffee all the time. Double cream all the time. Half and half, actually.
I know your order.
That's it. No sugar. I'm sweet enough. I don't need any sugar or fake sweetener. Tell the world, Moose, about yours.
I know your order. You know mine. You're 2 creams, right?
Black.
I'm black. Yep, you got it.
You're a black coffee guy. I was asking people to write in from our home province. Bomber Boy writes in and says, how about some love from the 403? You get enough, Bomber Boy. Brett writes in, he says, good morning from Saskatoon, formerly from Central Butte and Milestone.
Approved.
Thank you, Brett. I appreciate that. Dick White writes in, the former athletics director from the University of Regina and president of U Sport. Hey, Rod, I'm enjoying the show. Hope Cody Fajardo lands on his feet somewhere. Pro sport is a cruel business. Thank you, Dick. Let me walk this back. And producer Bryce, can you hit the quick 6 show horn just to remind everybody? Beep, 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 beep. Is he there? Producer Bryce? Director Bryce, I should say. Here's our quick 6 show topics of the program today. Number 1, NHL leftovers, just 2 games last night. Moose kicked my ass. He was 100%. I was 0% in our pick. Number 2, what's the game of the night in the NHL? There's 15 games tonight. You've all voted at the EMJ marketing poll that the game of the night is here in Sunrise tonight. Panthers and Leafs. Austin Matthews won't play. Point 3, we talked about Vernon Adams being dealt to Calgary. It was a fantastic interview, I thought, with Dave Campbell last hour, the color voice of the Elkamos, saying VA's off the board, and Dave very clearly wants to keep Trey Ford there, and it sounds like Ed Hervey will too. College football rankings, which we'll get into more in December. There's 2 more weeks, right, of these rankings before the playoffs start. Point 5, U.S. Thanksgiving upcoming. It's kind of started. Everybody's talking about it around here. Everybody's in a good mood. Darren came down and visited me for our 1000th show and realized everybody in Florida's in a good mood. Don't get mad at us that we're in a good mood. And point 6, the NHL, if the playoffs started today, who would be in, who wouldn't? And next segment, because I don't think we have enough time here, we'll play our breakaway bets and talk about Darren's Power 5 in the NFL. Again, I'm a little shocked. And maybe preview a little more of the games tomorrow in the NFL. It's that triple header. I think tomorrow is going to be, Darren, just a delicious show because not only are we going to talk about the 3 NFL games, but also that U.S. Thanksgiving thing in the NHL. 80% of teams that are in a playoff spot at U.S. Thanksgiving in the NHL will make the playoff. Who are they going to be? But here, the news, God bless the Canadian Football League. You know, I try to push the football to Fridays as much as I can in the offseason. But it's not really football offseason right now. Vernon Adams traded from BC to Calgary yesterday. If you can believe what Dave Campbell says, and I trust him, he's a trustworthy guy. Sounds like Trey Ford's going to stay in Edmonton. I'd like to think Trevor Harris is going to stay in Saskatchewan. If they're smart, they'll keep him. And now this news here that Davis Alexander has signed a new contract with the Montreal Alouettes. He was the third-string quarterback last year, but he's all that. I think we watched the games and we can tell that he's all that. And that leaves Cody Fajardo, again, out in the cold. But you understand, Cody and I are very close. And when he left Saskatchewan, we talked, and he handled that. I didn't need to say anything to him. He handled it better than anybody could. And, Dick, you understand this because you've been through the wars. You got the scars. I got the scars. Darren's getting the scars. After a while, this crap, I almost said it, doesn't faze you. It doesn't faze you after a while. This will not faze Cody. I don't know where he's going to go. I have no idea. But I would say don't feel bad for Cody. He's been through it enough. That's all I'll say. And for the Alouettes, may God have mercy on your soul. No, they're doing what's best for them. We're in a do what's best for you era. Cody will be fine. What do you think, Darren?
Yeah, he will. And this just adds to it. You know, he'll always have that label that he'll attach to his resume and that his agent will put out there, Grey Cup champion. And recent Grey Cup champion. And then before he got hurt, like Davis Alexander's a good quarterback. And Montreal is going to do what's right for them. And if he's the future, I mean, he's 4-0 when he came in relief of Cody Fajardo this past year. And yes, the Owls didn't end the year on a high note, but they were really good. Best team in the CFL for a long time. Clinched the playoff spot right away. Why wouldn't you want Cody Fajardo leading your offense if you're another team in the Canadian Football League? Maybe Cody Fajardo, like if you're, I know he's not going back to Sask, but you look around the league and you see there's opportunities. So if he wants it, I think he'll have one, but it'll be an interesting game of musical chairs.
If this means anything to anybody, we talked about this last hour. We talk about it a lot on this show. Cody Fajardo, obviously a great person. Trevor Harris, a great person. Vernon Adams is a great person. Nathan Rourke is a great person. I don't know Trey Ford, but he seems like a great person. There are a few jerks around, you know, but I think you want a good person in that role in your locker room. And Cody's one. He's proven. So, again, it happened in Sask. It hurt him. It didn't break him. He came back stronger. Just got to do it again, right? That's once you go through these things, it strengthens you or it breaks you. And I know what it's done with Cody. I like this one. A new viewer in Ottawa watching on Game Plus TV writes in and says, "Hey, boys, what are your thoughts on the Montreal Canadiens and the direction they're heading under Gorton and Hughes? Signed, Randy in the Capital." We have to break in a minute, but I appreciate the question. And it's frustrating, I know, because this rebuild's taking longer than they'd like. What was it, 2021 they were in the Stanley Cup final, and they've been pretty much rock bottom since. And it's hard for Habs fans to be told. It's hard for any fans to be told to be patient. But do you trust what they're doing? I mean, I haven't seen them. They haven't come through Sunrise yet. I'm going to make darn sure that I go see them. Let me watch them live before I offer an assessment. When I have seen them the last couple of years, you remember me saying on this show, Darren, they are like the best American Hockey League team I've ever seen. They're incredibly young. Gooley, Slevkowski, guys like that. Even Suzuki, their captain, still young. Laine hasn't played a game, right? They've had some bad things go against them, but they're not winning, right? So people get mad, particularly in Montreal. I'm not sold on their goalie. We can't compare everybody to Carey Price. I understand that, but I don't think Sam Montembeault is the next one. Hard to find a goalie, as we've found. I'll get Darren's thoughts when we come back. And any Habs fan, because God knows there's a lot of them, and I really appreciate the question. Chime in on that. Where are we all on the Habs? All I'll say is they're young, and be patient. You don't want to hear that, but that's what you need to hear. NHL top 5, bottom 5 coming up. Breakaway bets. Moose's Power 5 in the NFL. And the reasons why. We'll be back in a moment here on Game Plus Television, streaming live on YouTube, and, of course, podcasting wherever you enjoy your podcast.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit. As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It just screams hockey weather, doesn't it? Yeah, baby. The game of the night of the National Hockey League, as voted by you, the viewers, is here tonight. The Florida Panthers, home to the Toronto Maple Leafs. No Austin Matthews in the lineup tonight, thanks to David Alter of the Hockey News for the report. Moose is with us. By the way, the text line is open, 902-518-3033 for Alaterra Skincare. Is your skincare starting rotation starting to give up big hits to wrinkles, age spots, and acne scars? Revitalize your self-care routine with Alaterra's all-natural lineup of nourishing products. Alaterra.com. Use promo code RP20 for 20% off your first order. By the way, I love everything coming together, Moose. I don't know if you checked the WhatsApp, but we're going to have a meme coming out about what Dave Campbell said about Trey Ford. I wrote my gal Sherry Lacasse in Edmonton. She's a professional photographer up there. And I'm like, hey, Sherry, can you give me access to your Trey Ford Dropbox photos because she does a great job. She's a sports photographer in Edmonton. She goes, I was just watching your show. Here you go. And she sent me the photos. It's a God shot. Thank you, Sherry. You're the best. Your thoughts on the Habs, Moose, before we move on, by request.
Young team, but a team that won't be able to use that label for too long. Tough start for Juraj Slafkovsky, number 1 overall pick. You hope he gets going. But again, still a young player, still opportunity. Look how long it's taken, Alex Lafreniere in New York to get going and become, a high-end guy. And everybody thought bust. We're so quick to want to label guys a bust. Sometimes you just need patience. But you are dangerously close to becoming Ottawa right now. And Ottawa's a team that is overdue to break out and become good. Like the players are there. You got, Travis Green as the coach. He's thought this has to happen. And eventually it's not. And further beyond that is Buffalo, who's even had more opportunities where it's like, this has to be the year that we take the next step. So Montreal can get a pass for being young this year, but next year, I don't know that they're going to get the pass. They need to take a step forward.
Maybe we should get Knuckles Nyland on. Can you make a note of that, Clark? He'll give us the unvarnished truth. And it's funny because Bomber Boy writes in, he says, Montreal needs to get rid of St. Louis. And the Barflies is watching in Winnipeg. He says, what were St. Louis' coaching credentials? If I'm right, he was coaching his kids' peewee team, but who cares? Remember when he was hired, and for the first year or two under St. Louis, people were saying, and I saw it, he relates to the young players. What do we want? You don't want a Darryl Sutter. You don't want these old guys. Now, Lindy Ruff is doing great things with the Sabres. Different scenario there. But if you want to just throw St. Louis under the bus, and make no mistake, he'll be the first to go. He is on the hot seat, by the way. He's in the firing odds, top 5. But the guy said, what about the job done by Hughes and Gorton? Jeff Gorton came from the Rangers. Ken Hughes was an agent. What had they ever done? But the GM ends up, somebody gets pushed in front of the bullet first before the GM, right? Or the co-GM. So I would say nobody knows better than the Habs about where they're going and the Habs fans. Or the future of Martin St. Louis. I want to watch them live first. I'm with Darren, and I think I said it as well. They're just incredibly young. On the Canadian Football League front, we learned today that Cody Fajardo is out of a job, or looks like unless he's willing to accept less money in a backup role in Montreal, his time's done with the Alouettes. And by the way, I want to apologize to the people last week that watched this show and were talking about this. I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. It makes absolutely zero sense they're going to do this. And then they did it. So where there's smoke, there's fire, as John Lynch would say. So if Cody's looking for a job, he's a humble guy. He might be willing to stay in Montreal. It kind of depends on how much he enjoys the city and the team and all the rest. Or maybe he feels that he got hooped and wants out. I don't know. But the gentleman here says sign him in Winnipeg. You saw in the Grey Cup, you can't rely on the backup you have. Do you think Cody stays? I think that he would. These guys want to play football for as long as they want. Not like coaching, where look at a guy like Chris Jones, who was a head coach, a GM, defensive coordinator, up, down, everywhere, and just takes a job. Quarterbacks don't necessarily need to do that unless you want to keep playing. And I think Cody would want to keep playing. I could see him being a backup somewhere. I don't know if it would be Montreal or not. I don't know. Just came down today. I haven't talked to him.
Yeah, I read the article too. And Cody's only 32 years old. I mean, he's got a lot of years left if he wants to play. And, 40 is the number, right? Not that every quarterback can play and will play till 40. But that's kind of the number. You're going to get into your late 30s, and that's when the career kind of starts to wind down and be over. So he's got 5, 6, 7, 8 good years if he wants to play. That's a good question. But I read the article at 3 down, too, about Davis Alexander. He's the future of the franchise. Sign him to a long-term deal now through 2027. And he's now going to take the next step and become the leader of the franchise. Doesn't mean he's going to be the starter necessarily this year. They've got decisions to make. But it could be another year with Cody as the number one guy. You got Davis ready to go as the number two. And if he needs to step in, he will. And kind of make this transition more than 4 games and now the starter. I'd like to see a little bit of a gradual transition of, one more season.
God bless the CFL fans who just pulled us into their quicksand again. I'm going to read a couple, and then we're going to get back on our what we normally do. The Bar Flies in Winnipeg writes, then he says, I'd take Cody Fajardo over VA. That's you, but clearly Calgary, would they have taken Fajardo? Probably didn't know that he was going to be coming available because it seems ludicrous. But here's the one thing about winning. As your family knows, Darren, because those step kids or nieces and nephews of yours quote me, winning matters. Winning still matters. Okay, participation medals don't. Or ribbons. Cody won. You know who hasn't? Vernon Adams and Trevor Harris. And that'll dog their ass for as long as they roam the earth until they win. So that's what it feels like to be a champion, an award winner, whatever you want to say. You can put your feet up. Say whatever you want. Kiss the ring. Okay. Any thoughts on that before I move on?
No, I'm good. I thought, you know what? Winning matters, and Cody will have that on his resume. So I think that will earn a certain level of respect when it comes to free agent negotiations.
Kirk in Toronto writes that he says, hey, Rod, notice a bunch of empty seats on Saturday night's Habs game. Montreal won't support bad hockey, unlike Toronto, where the rink is filled even when they stink. Kirk, just worry about Toronto. Yesterday, you were worried about Saskatchewan's weather. Today, you're worried about Montreal's ticket set. Just worry about Toronto. As my grade 7 French teacher, Dale, Mr. Struthers said, you, and he would tap me on the head, you just worry about Mr. Pedersen. That looks like it's already more than you can handle. These days, he'd be thrown in jail for that. Turns out he was right. And here's me quoting him. However, 30 years later, you just worry about Mr. Kirk in Toronto. That looks like it's already more than you can handle. God dang it, he had it right. 902-518-3033. You know, let's get into sport betting, Darren, before we go any further. You ready?
Yeah.
People, you're invited to participate if you'd like. 15 games in the NHL tonight. I'd like to think this will catch on. If there's any company out there that would like to be associated with a safe, clean, upstanding sport betting proposition, this is it. Not degenerate gambling companies and their salacious ads. Nah, we just pick the games for fun. Sometimes we put a lunch on it. That's about it. Blues at Devils tonight. Who wins,
Give me
Moose?
New Jersey.
You can have them. Jim Montgomery and the Blues will win tonight in the Swamp. The New York Rangers at the Carolina Hurricanes. Sneaky good game there.
Yeah.
Who wins?
The Rangers have been sliding, and I did not have any luck picking them, so I'm going Carolina.
Really? I'm going to go with Carolina as well. The Minnesota Wild at the Buffalo Sabres.
Buffalo.
Okay, I'll take Minnie. Let's go, Buffalo. Washington at Tampa Bay.
Washington.
Perfect, because I'll take the Bolts, who had their way with Colorado the other night, 8-2 down here in Florida. Boston at the Islanders. I'll take the Bruins. I'll go first.
Okay, I'll take the Islanders.
Oh, perfect. Tonight, the Toronto Maple Leafs at the Florida Panthers. Your team versus my team. Who do you like?
Let's just chalk it up like that. I'll take Toronto.
Okay. I'll take the Cats. Vancouver at Pittsburgh. You going to go with Vancouver
Warriors.
again? You picked, you picked them last night.
For Vancouver. Yeah.
You can have them. You go with Lankinen again, who got the shutout. Oh, no, we can't play back-to-back nights. Oh, my God, we might die. Glenn Hull did it 500 times. I'll take Pittsburgh. No, yeah, you're taking Vancouver. I'm taking Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Got it, Rodney. Montreal at Columbus. Blue Jackets not having a fire sale yet. They think they might have something. Who do you like tonight? Montreal at Columbus.
I like Columbus tonight.
Okay. I want to watch. No, I can't watch this game. I got a game here tonight. Dang, nabbit. You said you're going to take Columbus?
Yeah. Sorry, Montreal.
Oh, man, I can't. I'll take Montreal just for fun. Calgary at Detroit. Flames for me. You?
Yeah, time to.
Okay. Philadelphia at Nashville. Toilet Bowl. Brought to you by Liquid Plumber. Philadelphia at Nashville. Who do you like?
I think I like Philly in this one tonight.
Yeah, me too, actually. The Dallas Stars at the Chicago Blackhawks. A classic Norris division matchup there. Who do you like?
Dallas.
Yeah, they're too good. Yeah, this is a big disparity between those two teams. Yeah. Anaheim at Seattle.
I like Seattle.
I'll go with you. I'm with you on that one, too. The Vegas Golden Knights at the Colorado Avalanche.
Should be a good game tonight. That's a sneaky, under-the-radar game of the night. I'll take Vegas.
Dag nabbit. Me too. First game back from a roadie is usually a stinker, and I think that's going to happen for the Avalanche tonight. The Winnipeg Jets at the Los Angeles Kings. Can I go first? Jets. Jets.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. I'm with you
too?
on that one. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Ottawa at San Jose to round it out.
Give me the Shark. I'm on the bandwagon.
Okay, I'll take Ottawa because I'm not on the Sharks bandwagon. Thanks for playing, everybody. Sport Betting National Hockey League Edition. When we come back, some NFL talk for all of you that love it so much. Previewing Thursday's U.S. Thanksgiving triple header. More hockey talk if you want it. And viewer takeover coming up. We're live on Game Plus Television, live streaming on YouTube, and, of course, podcasting wherever you enjoy your podcast.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit. As long as you're entertained, aren't you entertained?
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
We are back at it on the old RP show. Hour 2 of the program is brought to you by our friends at Culligan Water. Ba-ba-ba-boom. Drink clean, live green. Filter your water for a healthier tomorrow. Culligan Water of Regina. Visit CulliganRegina.com. And for the best Regina sports updates, sign up for the RP show, Rod Squad newsletter. Sign up for free at rodpeterson.com. And the 10 Things column, which we do every weekend, plus Moose's Best Bets, our best interviews of the week, are all in there as compiled by our wonderful business manager, Joe 747 Gunnis. All right, Moose, are you ready to talk some NFL?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't talk about it enough here. And by the way, a shout out to all my good friends and compadres that are watching today on Game Plus Television. I love that you are directly writing in at 902-518-3033. I mean that. Thank you. Because I will guarantee you, without you, there's no us. Got a lot of viewers, Moose, did you know?
Oh, yeah.
All
the time.
Aaron Rodgers says he's still thinking about whether he wants to play football next season or not. The 41-year-old quarterback told the Pat McAfee show that if he doesn't return, he'd prefer to come back to the New York Jets. Rodgers denied a report that he wants to keep playing elsewhere next season and said he needs to see how he feels physically, as well as where the Jets stand with the new general manager and coach. And as I was working out, using the term loosely, at LA Fitness yesterday, I think there's a range of TVs right on the wall. You know how they do that? And all the ESPN, Fox, blah, blah, they got it's all Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, for the love of God, it's the worst team in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers is 41 years old. Why are you all talking about this? But it is what it is. I almost can't really get mad at him for being this diva that he is, because they're all asking. They're all fascinated by him. I don't really get it. I'm not sure I ever will. Say what?
They're just feeding him. They're feeding him. They're feeding the ego. And, you know, he's one of the number one newsmakers in the National Football League. It's not always about wins and losses. It's about interest and drawing headlines and getting people intrigued. And just a smooth, no turbulence, successful season is not that exciting. You know, just winning and being at the top and cruising and, you know, it's not that interesting when it's the same thing day after day. But when it's up and it's down and it's down and it's left, and we got to keep our eye on the puck here and see where it's going to go, because we don't know where it's going to go next. And that's what keeps it's like a soap opera, the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers.
I feel like I'm really crappy at being a fan because I just get tired of it. And if I get tired of it, I turn it off. I'm so not like everybody else. And let me just pause for a second. I want to address one of our viewers. Colt writes in. He's the Alouettes fan. He says, do we do baseball talk here? Colt's new to the show. Colt, we do baseball talk if the Blue Jays are winning and during the playoff. Other than that, homie, don't play that game. Other than Blake Snell signing with the Dodgers. When there's big news, we will. But no, we don't sit here under 6 feet of snow in November and talk baseball. Not us. If that's what you want, move along. But we're talking NFL right now. and we don't talk about it enough. I plan to be at Super Bowl for a third time, broadcasting the RP show. And I don't know, I'm starting to wonder who's going to be in it. I will tell you this, going into the season, I had a Kansas City-Detroit Super Bowl, and I'm not really moving off that. But as I look at your Power 5 in the NFL, which is at rodpeterson.com right now, Moose did a wonderful football column where you talked about the Vanier Cup, the CFL moves, and the NFL. Do you remember? I have them written down. Do you remember your top 5 in the NFL? You have them in front of you?
I do. I also have them in front of me written down, but I know my top 5, and there's some movement on it for sure. And, with all due respect to, Pittsburgh was in it last week. It's not. I really am becoming a big fan of Green Bay. They're not quite in it yet. But I got Baltimore up to number 5 after their performance over the Chargers on Monday night. I just think that was an MVP-like performance from Lamar Jackson. They have a top offense in this league. They have the number 1 offense, total offense in the NFL. They're really good when it comes to their defense. So I have Baltimore 5. Number 4, Kansas City. They've dropped all the way down just because they're not convincing me right now that they are better than the teams above them. And above them, I have Philadelphia at number 3. Philadelphia has the number 1 defense in the league. They've got a top 5 offense. They've got Saquon Barkley, who's on pace to break the single-season rushing record. So they're going to have the ball for a long time. Other teams won't have the football. I have Philadelphia 3. I have Buffalo 2, continues to roll behind Josh Allen, and the Detroit Lions, who are number 2 in offense, number in the league. They have a top 5 defense. They're good everywhere, and they're beating everybody by a lot. Detroit's the number 1 team in football.
Brent from Wellington, Florida has perked up, and he says the excitement in Moose's face to dress in the green and gold tomorrow is electric. Go, Pack, go. Are you posting a photo of yourself in Packers gear tomorrow on your social media? Can we look forward to that?
I'll put a photo on, sure.
Paul in Humboldt writes in, and he says Aaron Rodgers is the current Joe Namath. Maybe. I mean, I wasn't alive when Joe Namath won the Super Bowl with the Jets, and I'm old. But what I know is he did win with the Jets, and Aaron Rodgers has destroyed the organization. So you're going to have to be a little more specific, Paul and Humboldt, why you feel Aaron Rodgers is the current Joe Namath, because Joe Namath is an icon. He's the only New York Jet anybody in New York wants to acknowledge as a Jet. Aaron Rodgers has come in and done one of 2 things, Darren. He's either destroyed the organization or exposed it as the toxic organization that it is. I'm not sure which. Which do you think it is? A, B, or somewhere in between?
Somewhere in between. There's, now a lot of conversation around Woody Johnson, the owner, and whether he's to blame for a lot of this. If Aaron Rodgers took it off the rails. Again, he's the only one left. Coach is gone, GM's gone, all the rest. But I did see Rex Ryan pleading his case on why he could come in and save the Jets. And, with the football world, would they be open to a Rex Ryan reunion in New York? And you know what? My life, and I mean, Vinny Testaverde was there, all the rest when I was young and not really following the game. In my life, the Jets have never been better than when Rex Ryan was the head coach. They've never been better. Now, Mark Sanchez was the quarterback, so why not run it back? I'd be okay with it.
They also went to an AFC championship game, right? With Rex Ryan as the coach. But who says you can't go back? Lindy Ruff is doing great things with the Sabres. So I don't think the Jets are going to hire Rex Ryan, but they might because they're the Jets. I heard Ryan Fitzpatrick this morning on Dan Patrick. I don't assume you were listening, but Ryan Fitzpatrick was calling out Bill Belichick for his analysis on all the various networks that he's on, saying there's analysis and then there's just being cruel and calling people and teams out. He goes, and that's what I think Belichick's doing. I was like, oh, this is good. You really want a player that just doesn't care. You know what I mean? He didn't care what Belichick thinks or anybody else. That's the good stuff.
Yeah. Different.
And that's Fitzpatrick for you. Yeah. But again, Rex, stop it. Okay? Bill. Well, Belichick might go coach somewhere else again, but I just... They pick a career, guys. Before I let you go and go do Moose things, Paul and Humboldt says the comparison is celebrity quarterbacks that want to hang on to their careers. The comparison between Joe Namath and Aaron Rodgers. Okay. Here's my NHL top 5, bottom 5, because you asked. Are you ready? Number 1, I think we can all agree the number 1 team in the NHL is the Winnipeg Jets. There's no argument there. Number 2, it's the Carolina Hurricanes. The only question is, will this be their year? And until it is, I don't think it will be, but they're the number 2 team. Number 3, the New Jersey Devils. The pundits were right. All they needed was a coach and a goalie. But 2 pretty big things. Number 4, the Vegas Golden Knights, because they're the Vegas Golden Knights. Enough said. Kelly McCrimmon. And point 5, the Minnesota Wild. I think they played the fewest games, but have the highest winning percentage. Minnesota. I'm a believer. Bottom 5, number 28, the Utah whatevers. They've showed up again in disguise. They're the Coyotes. Surprise, we're back in the bottom 5. 29, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Here's a tip. If you want to keep your job, become best friends with the star player. Number 30, the Montreal Canadiens. I hate to say it, but I'm saying it. 3rd worst team in the NHL. Number 2, Nashville. Doesn't sound like they're firing Andrew Burnett. A fire sale is going to happen first. It's the grease fire that you can't turn off. And still the worst team, the Chicago Blackhawks. Connor Bedard is frustrated at losing. We'll say it again. Get used to it. Moose, we're out of time. Go Leafs, go. Said Moose, not me. Enjoy the game tonight.
Thank you. You too.
We'll be back with overtime right after this. Here live on Game Plus TV, live streaming on YouTube, and podcasting wherever you enjoy your podcast.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit. As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Text 90240 3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's Overtime, brought to you by our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. I'll say it again. If you want to know what they're all about, give them a follow on their social media, specifically Instagram. They do such a great job on their social media. Facebook as well. Look them up, Overtime HL on Instagram. They got a player development camp this Friday in Calgary. Check them out and sign your kid up for it. You won't regret it. Colin in Ottawa writes in, multiple viewers in Ottawa today. How about that? Colin says, is it wrong? Is it wrong that I love that the CHL All-Stars crushed the USA National Development Team in their exhibition game by a score of 6-1? Well, I'll tell you what, it wasn't. Okay, you say exhibition game. I don't want to argue with you. It's the prospects game. CHL top prospects versus the USA Development Team. 6-1 in London last night. We talked about it last hour. Lyndon Lakovic of the Moose Jaw Warriors scored for the CHL. We're all over it, brah. You can see why I get sticky and a little uncomfortable in these Canada versus USA arguments. You can see why. So, yeah, I'll just pass along your comment. I also appreciate everybody tuning in. See a very large viewership today on Game Plus TV. Talking sports. You get a lot of options out there. Thanks for making us yours. Daytime sports talk, it's hard to beat. I.e. breaking news. A person familiar with the decision says former Giants quarterback Daniel Jones is signing with the Minnesota Vikings in the NFL. Jones will join Minnesota's practice squad less than a week after the Giants released the former number 6 overall draft pick. Sam Darnold has helped the Vikings start 9-2. Daniel Jones joins Nick Mullins and Brett Rippon in Minnesota's quarterback room. Scotty Barnes and the Raptors will look to get back into the win column tonight as they take on the Pelicans in New Orleans. Toronto lost the second straight game Monday night when it dropped a 102-100 decision in Detroit. Yet another big ad for the LA Dodgers. Blake Snell has agreed to join the World Series champs on a 5-year, $182 million deal. The deal is subject to a physical. The two-time Cy Young Award winner broke the news by posting a photo of himself on social media in a Dodgers uniform. So there you go. If I was an athlete, I would never talk to the media. I know the media hates that. I would do the Tiger Woods thing. I would make all my announcements through my own social media. Would even talk to the media. I don't have to. Or at least I don't think you have to. Marshawn Lynch would say otherwise, but you know what I mean. The big announcements I would make on my social media. How about that?
How about
no
that?
No Austin Matthews tonight for the Leafs here in Sunrise. That's our game of the night. And in the NHL of 15, by the way. The sports update is brought to you by Seat Giant. Stop paying U.S. dollars for games and concerts. Canadian-owned and operated with Canadians in mind. Super Bowl, college football, Taylor Swift, Justin Timberlake. We've got it all. Use the promo code RPShow for 15% off now. Check us out at seatgiant.ca. And for Landmark Cinemas, we love our movies, don't we? If you're looking for something to do, hit up Landmark Cinemas and join the rewards program. You can actually research it this afternoon yourself. There's 3 programs to choose from. The more movies and concession items you buy, the more free stuff you get. Trust it, me, we're members, and it works. Miami Heat in action tonight as well. Keeping an eye on the teams. They're at Charlotte. Renee writes in Toronto. Hey, Renee. Or is it Rennie? Looks like Rennie. He says, the Devils are not playing in the Swamp anymore. They're playing at the Rock. Maybe one of the best arenas I've ever been. Goes on to say, thanks for not putting the blue shirts of Broadway in the top 5. I hate them. Rennie, you write in anytime, Rennie. When I said the Swamp, I just kind of, any place in New Jersey I've been, it looks like a swamp. So I just refer to New Jersey as all of it is a swamp. Florida's a swamp too, so it's not like we think we're better than anybody. Gary in Penticton writes in, Gary with 2 R's, and he says, Aaron Rodgers should get on his horse and ride into the sunset. I'm tired of him too, but you know what? I don't think he will. I think when he's done, he's going to stay in the media because all these people can't get enough of him. I've had enough of him. I'm getting tired. I'm tired of the Taylor Swift talk, tired of the Aaron Rodgers talk, but nobody asked me. They just keep talking about these guys. Laverne in Swift Current writes in, hey, Laverne, where's Shirley? Laverne says, Joe Namath, Aaron Rodgers, both cocky. Joe Namath dressed better. Broadway Joe. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. I want to kiss you. Susie Colbert, Monday Night Football, last time Joe Namath ever drank. Let's end it on this. For some people, your rock bottom can be a trampoline, and life only gets better from there. I'm a Joe Namath backer, not Aaron Rodgers. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow on Turkey Day here in the U.S.
How about that?